Welcome to Beyond the Badge. Beyond the Badge is an inside look at your Oshkosh Police Department, brought to you through the resources of Oshkosh Community Media Services.
Happy New Year and welcome to this edition of Beyond the Badge. I'm Joe Nichols. On today's show, we'll be talking with Nikki Springers and Matt Harper about this year's Polar Plunge for Special Olympics. Later in the show, we'll be talking with Sergeant Matt Harris, who will give us a brief insight into the 2015 special events in Oshkosh. We thank all of you watching us today on City Cable 10 and those of you listening to us on 101.9 WOCT. Nikki and Matt, thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. And before we get started, Nikki, you're getting to be a veteran of the show.
Yes.
And if you could please tell our viewers and listeners about yourself.
Yeah. My name is Nikki Springers. I'm the Director of Development for Special Olympics in the Fox Valley region. And this is a favorite time of the year for me because one of the biggest parts of my job is to plan the Polar Plunge event, which is right on the horizon. I do all kinds of fundraising events for Special Olympics and helping to raise funds for our programs, but Polar Plunge is our biggest.
Excellent. And Matt, your first time on the show.
It is. Thanks again for having me.
You betcha.
So I had some 10 years in full-time law enforcement, so I always spent most of that 10 years volunteering with Special Olympics and doing some great things with the torch runs and polar plunges and in Nikki's region. So now I went down to part-time with the Winneconne Police Department, and I also work full-time for Special Olympics in Green Bay. So I get to do a lot of the same things that Nikki does in the Green Bay region. And so this is, definitely a busy time of year for the plunge. So we're excited to be here and talking about it.
Fantastic. And thank you again for both for being here. Nikki, as we get started, I understand that the Polar Plunge coming up in February 2015.
Yep. So it's like I said, it's our biggest fundraising event, and we have over the years turned it into a 2-day event rather than it started as just a 3 hours of fun, of fun and plunging, and it's now turned into basically a weekend festival that kicks off on Friday, February 20th. And we have some of our Toss Your Boss plunges. We do some live entertainment in our tent, law enforcement plunging, and we roll into Saturday with the big, the big event. And are expecting over 2,000 people to plunge this year, and and raise some funds for Special Olympics.
Fantastic. And this is the 15th anniversary of the Polar Plunge in Oshkosh. Are you doing anything special this year?
Yeah, we've kind of got a lot of fun things, brewing. Number one priority is to make kind of everything bigger and better. We've also have added a Freezing for a Reason 5K, which will take place the morning of the Polar Plunge at 10 a.m. So folks have the opportunity to, rather than jump in Lake Winnebago, you can run around the scenic views of the lake, but still support Special Olympics. We're really planning to do something special on Friday night to recognize the 15th anniversary. And being that we're kind of spending some time talking about law enforcement, we have a commitment by law enforcement around the area to really get on board this year as far as having Polar Plunge teams representing all of the local law enforcement agencies to plunge on Friday night and make a big splash.
Fantastic. And Matt, how did law enforcement become involved with Special Olympics?
Absolutely. It's actually really kind of a neat story. So in 1981, Chief Richard Lemunion wanted to have a run. He just thought he could have a run to raise some awareness and some money for Special Olympics, and thought there was a great connection with law enforcement and Special Olympics, just to be able to work together and raise awareness and almost be those guardian angels for the athletes who had been through a lot at that time. So it started with a simple torch run, and it definitely grew from there to the largest grassroots fundraiser that is in existence.
Fantastic. And Nikki, how do people get registered or get involved with the Polar Plunge?
Yeah. So kind of like I was saying is that we've got the 5K. We want to give people as many opportunities to get registered and to be involved. So the first reaction everybody has is, do I have to jump in the lake? And that's the way that everybody, that is the biggest way that people participate, but it's definitely not the only way that people participate. So we want to give people the option to do that. A couple of years back, we created the registration option as too chicken to plunge. So you don't have to plunge, but you can still support Special Olympics and still be on your police department's polar plunge team or your company's polar plunge team. You can run in the 5K. If you've got little ones at home, they can take the Pee-wee plunge, which is inside our family tent. Volunteers are always needed to be a part of the event. So you can participate and support that way. You can come out to the event Friday night. You can come out to the event on Saturday. It is definitely a spectator sport, I would say, as far as people coming out and wanting to see the excitement, see the costumes, see the teams plunging. You don't get to see it all the time, and it's something that is really enjoyed by the spectators. So the best place to go to get involved in any of those ways is to go to plungewi.org, and you can figure out anything you ever needed to know about the plunge, from just simply logging on to our website, and you can register to volunteer, you can sign up your team, you can get the schedule of events.
Very good.
Yeah.
And Matt, you are a veteran of the Polar Plunge. I hear that you've got some teams out there that are being formed.
Absolutely.
And your team will be participating on Friday night for the Polar Plunge. How did that all come together?
Usually by threats. No, I'm just kidding. We do like to. I've been involved, like I said, for about 10 years overall with the plunge itself. But I've plunged for about 7. I think this will be my 8th year where I've taken the plunge. So I'm a lead by example kind of person. So if I ask somebody to do it, I better be ready to do it myself. So I've kind of given the challenge out to my police department in Winneconne and said, listen, there is something for everybody now. You don't have to just take the plunge if the thought of cold water really scares you, or you just don't like the idea. You can be too chicken to plunge. You can take the plunge. You can do the 5K. I mean, so yeah, there is something for everybody, and that's really the point we want to get across. And the point that I've gotten across to my coworkers is, just come out and have a good time and do whatever you're comfortable with, because it's going to be a fun day and a fun atmosphere.
And the rumors are that the water is cold, but that's not true, is it?
No, it's only temporary. If it is, we got warm hot tubs waiting. So yeah, you can't even tell how cold it is. It happens so quick.
Very good, very good. Now, if the water's 80 degrees, I'll jump in. So maybe in the hot tub. And can you tell our listeners and viewers about another event that's being hosted by Buffalo Wild Wings?
Yeah, so a few years back, Buffalo Wild Wings kind of jumped on as a sponsor for some different local events, and they've really grown their relationship with Special Olympics from there. They think it's a great organization, and they've just tried to come up with some different clever ways to raise money for Special Olympics. So we came up with the idea of Cops Gone Wild, kind of a catchy tagline to get local officers out from the community and letting people know, hey, you can come out and they're going to help waiter, waitress, get you some drinks and clean up your tables to help raise some money and awareness for Special Olympics. So they've really embraced everything that we've asked of them and really been really involved with teams and helping out with the Cops Gone Wild events and things like that. So.
Very good. And people can just look for advertising that'll be coming up. I'm not sure exactly.
So Cops Gone Wild is held in Oshkosh in September, and then we also that's where it originated, and a lot of the other Buffalo Wild Wings stores around, not only in the Fox Valley but around the state, have said this is great. Law enforcement has a great time doing it as well. So we just had a Cops Gone Wild in Appleton last Saturday.
Oh, nice.
We'll be adding, we'll be doing another in Appleton in the next coming months, and we try to kind of just fill the calendar, with the events. Wow. So there's always, something on the horizon.
Absolutely. And what other special events are taking place, throughout the area?
One of the most exciting events that I think we that we held this year and will continue to hold was our Run with the Cops 5K event that happened in October. It was a first-year event. It was a nighttime 5K, and the idea behind it was to bring law enforcement and Special Olympics together and offer a unique 5K experience, which was, like I said, at night. But the entire 5K route was lit up by the lights of the different squad cars from not only Oshkosh, but probably between about 15 or more other local agencies.
Sure.
And we had glow stations along the course where runners, were collecting red and blue flashing sunglasses and necklaces and, pins and things like that. So that was an amazing event, and we can't wait to do that again in October.
Absolutely, all for a good cause as well. And Matt, we got the torch run also that occurs every year. How has law enforcement become involved in that?
Like I said, when it originally started, it took a little while to become a bigger issue or a bigger involvement. So it really started in 1981, and then 86, Wisconsin really started with some of the torch run events, and then we went through Tip of Cops, Cop on Tops. I mean, law enforcement's really kind of been there along the whole way with Special Olympics doing some great things.
Fantastic. And Nikki, where do the funds go from all the events that are raising the money?
Special Olympics is one thing I think that people kind of sometimes think is that, when is Special Olympics? Does it happen one time? And so that's not the case. Special Olympics is year round, and there are a number of competitions. There's practices happening every day. Right here in the Fox Valley area, we have about 1,000 Special Olympics athletes, and so the funds are raised to be able to offer a year-round programs, year-round competition opportunities, training, health screenings, and programs in our schools that are teaching, students about kind of healthier, climates in the schools and acceptance and learning about people, their students and classmates that have, intellectual disabilities. So it's really a full scope of things that the funds raise.
Very
go
good.
to.
Very good. And Nikki, one more time, is there a website or telephone number that people can get a hold of Special Olympics to volunteer or become part of the events?
Yep. You can visit SpecialOlympicsWisconsin.org, and that's going to give the entire scope of what Special Olympics does. And since we talked about polar plunge a little bit more today, PlungeWI.org.
Right.
PlungeWI.org. Easy, simple.
Absolutely.
And it's got everything.
New this year.
Yep.
Absolutely, and make sure that if you're interested in plunging, get out there, support a great cause, and have some fun. So, well, I thank you very much for both coming on today's show, and we will be right back after this short break.
Hello, I'm City Manager Mark Roloff. Roundabouts are new to many of us in Oshkosh, so we have to take extra precaution when using them. Remember, safety is the key. Slow down. The speed limit in the roundabout is only 15 miles an hour. Avoid distractions. Focus all your attention on navigating the roundabout. Find the proper lane. Check out the signage leading up to the roundabout. Choose your lane assignment early and stay in your lane. Evaluate the situation. Take notice of what kind of vehicles are in front of you. Sometimes larger trucks need to take up both lanes of a roundabout. Think to look for pedestrians and allow them to cross when entering and exiting a roundabout. Yield to traffic on your left. You must yield to all traffic in the roundabout, and that traffic will be coming from your left. Again, safety is the key. Remember that word and what those letters represent, and your roundabout driving experience will be a smooth one. Thanks for your support.
Welcome back to Beyond the Badge. We are now here with Sergeant Matt Harris, who is a Special Operations Supervisor for the Oshkosh Police Department. And Matt, thank you very much for coming back to the show. And please tell us about yourself.
I've been with the Oshkosh Police Department for 11 plus years now. The last 5 years I've been in Special Operations, and recently this past year, as of April, I've been promoted to Special Operations Sergeant. Loving my job, loving what I do, organizing special events, working with our community service officers, our auxiliary police, and special event organizers.
Very good. Well, thank you again for coming on today's show. And you're celebrating your 5th anniversary coming up here in Special Op during the year.
Right.
So, first of all, let our viewers and listeners know what is Special Operations.
Special Operations, by definition, it'd be a support division, but basically a community service officer program, being part of the auxiliary special event. So the biggest part of Special Operations, I would say, is the special event coordination, working with special event organizers to see what they have, all those types of things. But the biggest thing is to make sure that the events go off without a hitch in the city and that they're safe.
Fantastic. Get to see you running around in the hallways. Talking about special events.
There is a special event ordinance in the city, and some of those 8 or 9 or 10 different qualifications. For example, if you're going to request exclusive use of a city park, for example, your event, that would be something that you're going to want to close a city street or a city sidewalk. For example, if you want to have a 5K run and you want the street closed, that would have to go and guarantee you that that street will be closed, that barricades will be put up, all those types of things. So that's another example. If your event is at a venue that isn't designed to be equipped, and if your event is a special event by definition. And another one that we run into a lot, if your event would be determined to need what's called extraordinary services by the city, whether it's police, fire, other departments. If it's something that's beyond that normal day-to-day operations, for example, having officers at your event for security reasons because you've got 20,000 people there or something, that would be above and beyond the normal day-to-day operations. That would be by definition a special event.
Okay, very good. And why would it be important for somebody who's going to have a special event to contact you first?
Yeah, planning is the big key. I've been doing this for 5 years now, and through the city we have something called the Special Event Review Committee, CERC. I might refer to it as CERC. It's representatives from all the city departments that can get the information to the organizer. It's kind of your one-stop shop for planning your special event. What we see sometimes is organizers will begin to plan their event, and then they come to the city. They have a minimum of 45 days prior to their event, but they'll come 2 months before their event date, and it's like they're kind of cutting it close on getting approval for those road closures, for those park usages. Well, we encourage people, you can actually turn your application in up to a year early. Contact me if you want me to be your point of contact. I can get the ball rolling, letting you know if we have any other conflicts on that date. Are there other events that are going to affect police staffing, fire staffing, road usage? So just getting in touch with us early, maybe before you've even begun most of your planning, will help you avoid any conflicts down the road when you've already got other things planned.
Fantastic information. And after someone has contacted you about a special event, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. What police action is entailed in these special events?
Yep. From my standpoint, from a police version, if it's going to be something that affects our patrol shift, for example, the Waterfest concert series, those are ones that we may or may not have police officers at, depending on the weather, depending on the headliner, things like that. But working with our patrol shifts just to check on the area, check the outlying neighborhood areas. So that's something, we want to ensure that quality of life in the communities for any event. And then along with that, from my job of staffing, that's a big thing. Working with organizers and not just saying we're going to have 10 police officers at your event, but working with you. Maybe you've got a private security company that you are employing. And a big thing about special events is that police-private security working relationship so that we can supplement each other. So that might add to or reduce from what our staffing would be at for your event. And then the other thing is just pre-planning. Community notification, we use our Facebook page, our Twitter page, getting stuff on the city's website, trying to get the information out to the public of, hey, this road's going to be closed or this event's going on, just so people are aware of them.
Absolutely. Yes. And now Oshkosh is known as the event city. Yeah. How many special events are actually taking place in the city?
I tallied them before we came over, and we're done for 2014 for special events, but we had 121 special events that came through our special event review process, the CERT committee. And those go before the city council then for approval or disapproval. With those 121 special events, then we've got other things that happen throughout the year in the city that maybe our auxiliary police works. They work basketball games, football games, things like that. So there's 121 official special events, but there's many more things that go on in the city.
Absolutely, and we're well titled,
Yeah.
the Event City. In 2015, though, there are many special events that will take place again. Some are reoccurring. But can you please tell us some of those events that are coming up, and if you know some of the dates so people can get ready?
Sure. With March 2015, actually even to back up, there's some in January and February, but the first significant one that we kind of get to with staffing and kind of in the special event season, the St. Patrick's Day Parade, that's March 14th, that's a Saturday evening, that's a growing event. April 2015, the Oshkosh Half Marathon, and actually that's April 19th. I've actually been notified that's going to a marathon. They're actually going to utilize the Wee Wash Trail, so they're going to double the distance. So we're doing the planning for that. May of 2015, the Memorial Day procession is always on Memorial Day. That's an event that our auxiliary police staffs and helps out with. Then we start the kind of unofficial, official start of special event season, June 2015. Irish Fest is the second weekend in June. They did that last year also. That's at the Leach Amphitheater. The farmers market starts in June and goes for, I haven't counted, but usually 20 to 22 weeks throughout the year. That's something that's still going to be downtown Oshkosh, starting in June. We then go into Waterfest. Their schedule is not set yet, but the past year they experimented with some Friday and Saturday dates as opposed to the traditional Thursday dates. Country USA, that's the big one at the end of June out at Ford Festival Park. Then we get into July, and I don't get many days off come July, but Sawdust Days, that's at the start of July. Along with that, the 4th of July Parade and the fireworks on the 4th of July. A twist to the 4th of July Parade, because the 4th of July Parade is going on at the same time as the farmers market. That Saturday morning, the 4th of July Parade will detour around Main Street utilizing Division. So we're in the planning stages with both event organizers for that.
Wow.
Life Fest that week in July 9th to the 12th. Rock USA, July 15th to the 18th out at Ford Festival Park. And then ending July there with EAA Air Venture, July 20th to the 26th. New for this year is a quick turnaround between Rock USA and EAA Air Venture. Rock USA ends on the 18th, EAA starts on the 20th, so that's different from previous years.
Absolutely.
Moving into August 2015, Race the Lake is a bicycle race around Lake Winnebago, starts in Fond du Lac, goes around and ends in Fond du Lac, August 16th. Gus Macker basketball tournament, they've confirmed that they are in the weekend in August there, August 15th and 16th. I know they're going to try to get a lot of community involvement with that event in the downtown area. That event is continuing to grow. September, the Dragon Boat races, that's down at the Leach Amphitheater. That's where they have those big boats and they go up and down, they paddle up and down the river. October 2015, Oktoberfest. That one's been going on for several years now. And then several other events to finish out the year. The Tour to Titan bike ride, that's with UW Oshkosh Homecoming. Take Back the Night, that is a march that goes through city streets for domestic violence awareness. November 2015, the Holiday Parade downtown. And then December 2015, Race for the Lights and the Jingle Bell 5K.
Wow. That's already a big, big list of special events going on, and I mean that's just the tip of the iceberg, to tell you the truth, because you get more and more events requested each and every year, and it's a great thing for the community. But like you said, start with you first and the planning committee.
Yes.
Okay. And do you have any tips for anyone planning an event?
Just get in touch with us early. I know there's an event. I can't tell you the event, but potentially for Labor Day 2015, a large event in the city. They are doing their work, and they contacted us early to see if it's something that we could handle as a city and that they could obviously have a success with. So that's an example of getting in touch with us, and we can do a lot of planning then.
Fantastic. And one special group I wanna bring up is our auxiliary.
Yes.
Without our auxiliary, we don't do this.
Yes.
So how do they work the special events?
The auxiliary police, they are all volunteer unit. They've got about 35 to 40 members. I do want to point out that I just got done tallying the 2014 numbers. They put in 111.25, so basically a little over 2,000 hours of volunteer time for all of our special events in the city. From some of their details are traffic direction at a 5K or a marathon, overnight security for some of the fishing tournaments, and I know Polar Plunge, they do some overnight security work, and then helping out with crowd control if there's large events. But a lot of their details are traffic direction. They do high school basketball, high school football games, just having a presence at those events. So a wonderful unit. I'm proud to be an advisor to their unit and work with them because the dedication they have to the police department and to the city is just tremendous.
And it is fantastic. A great group to work with. And Matt, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on today's show, letting us know about special events for 2015.
Thank you.
Okay. And we will be right back after this short break.
In Wisconsin, the laws are the same for bicyclists and motorists. So if you bike, ride with the traffic and obey stop signs and lights. Whether you ride a bike or drive a car, you must yield the right-of-way to pedestrians at marked and unmarked crosswalks. At intersections, always look for pedestrians before making a turn, and slow down in school zones and neighborhoods to keep our kids safe. Share and be aware. We're all responsible.
Hello and welcome back to Beyond the Badge. We thank Sergeant Matt Harris, Nicole Springers, and Officer Matt Harper for being on today's show. We thank all of you watching us and listening to us on today's show. If you missed the show or would like to watch the show again, you can go to www.oshkoshcommunitymedia.org and watch the show again. We also invite you to go check out the Oshkosh Police Department website at www.oshkoshpd.com. Many of your questions can be answered by visiting the site, and you can get to know us before you need us. All of us here at the Oshkosh Police Department and Oshkosh Community Media wish you a happy and prosperous new year. Until next time, stay safe.